Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I'm working on a character illustration. This is for the theme Pastel Gothic. That was voted on over on Patreon, so thank you guys, everyone who voted on that. But I was very excited to work on her. I love working on full body illustrations like this every now and again. I love working on the little clothing detail and everything, so I'll be talking a bit more about that. But this is a great opportunity for you to get your own drink and artwork if you're working on anything, and we can just sit together and chat about the art process and other art things, the thing that I love to talk about. A quick reminder, she is one of the 3 stickers for my sticker pack tier for Patreon for April. We only have a couple of days left to sign up for this reward, so if you want this sticker pack based on the theme Pastel Gothic or the Strength Tarot card artwork, make sure to sign up before the end of the last day of April and you'll be able to get it. And of course I have a link to my Patreon down in the description, so if you do want to sign up for either the sticker pack tier or the print tier that comes with both the stickers and the print, that is down below. And she is also available as an original at my art shop, so there's a link to my shop in the description. So let's talk a bit about her. So I had a couple themes, and Pastel Gothic was the one that was voted on for the sticker pack. And I love this style of aesthetic clothing. It combines many things that I like to combine in like my artwork. It certainly manifests slightly differently, but I love the pastel colors, the saturated colors combined with black and these spookier themes like bats and spikes, and it's just like this medley of things that I'm already interested in. So I was really excited that this one got voted on as the winner. So I like to do a little bit of a brainstorming before I start working on anything really, but especially things in series or sets. So I wanted to think about, okay, what are the notions, the ideas that I already have coming into this as far as how I wanted to portray this character. And then I started doing some research beyond that. But one of the first things that popped into my head as far as what I think of when I think of Pastel Goth is boots. I love these boots. I love looking at all of the ideas and references for boots, but these in particular, I've seen a few recently of these like pastel pink, really tough looking knee-high boots that I was just completely in love with. So I knew that I wanted to do a character that really accentuated the shoes so that those were really important to the illustration. You could see the full boot, and that is really kind of the cornerstone to this illustration. I find that happens very often where I'll have a very specific idea or element that I want to put into a piece, and then everything else kind of falls around it. They become puzzle pieces to support that one first idea. And again, it was the boots for this one for sure. So I knew that the pose needed to show off her shoes, her feet, so that I could make sure that I had those. But I wanted it to be a little bit more of a almost sitting, crouching kind of pose, so that she was more folded in on herself rather than just like a standing pose. Because I'm making a sticker, I wanted it to be a little bit more, I'm not sure how to describe it, not round, but I didn't want it to be long and skinny as a sticker. So basically the form of a standing person. I wanted it to be a little bit more of a volume from her hair, but also some more dimension created from her legs being folded up. So speaking of the pose and everything, I bring this up fairly often, but it has been a complete game changer for me, so I'll talk about it often. But as far as references, I have completely converted over to buying packs of references. There are lots of places, lots of sites that you can buy these. I love them. I love being able to just go into a folder on my computer to find photos that I've paid for the right to use as references, and they have really well lit dynamic poses that I'm excited about drawing, and they're just all there ready to go. And when I use them, I always prefer to mix and match several poses together, piece them together, bridge the gap, and draw in my own elements, obviously, but also changes the pose up so that it does feel very independent from the reference that I'm working off of. That way, it still is my own thing. I'm bringing life to it and turning it to something else, but I'm able to use those references in a way that really enhances my work, and I can get a more lifelike pose and character. I love it. I love being able to work this way. It just, yeah, it feels a lot more like I'm honing my skills, being able to work off of the human form in a way that is much more realistic. So for this piece, like always, almost always, I should say that, almost always, I like to start with a color comp so that I can make sure that it's being directed the way that I want. These color comps I usually do digitally, so I know that the final outcome is going to look quite a bit different, but it is a good roadmap. It tells me, okay, this area is going to be the darkest area, and this is going to be pink, and this is going to be purple or whatever. It allows me at least to know what path I'm going to take, but it very often ends up very different because I'm adding more layers, I'm adding shadow that I'm not putting into my color comp, and the undertones of the colors change a lot very often. And for this piece, it actually ended up quite a bit warmer than my color comp. My color comp, I had cool pinks for her hair and her boots, and her detailing, there's more purple in it. But as I worked on it more, it ended up being a lot warmer, which is kind of interesting to see, but fun. I like that. Usually I end up painting my pinks very cool, and then I shade them with purple, and then it just ends up feeling like a very repetitive kind of pink. I tend to paint the same kind of pink often. So this was really nice to be able to break out of that and end up with a pink that was a lot warmer, and I was using different paints to achieve that. So it felt a lot more fresh and new. It felt like I was exploring the paints that I have in a different way, and like I was expanding my understanding of them. I really recommend this if you've been feeling like you're in a bit of a rut with your paints, like you're feeling stagnated and you're kind of repeating the same gradients and blends and washes, and you're just feeling a little tired of that. I would try to look for new ways, new colors that you can shade with. That's kind of one thing that I found ended up being really repetitious, is that I really love quinacridone violet for shadows and skin and all sorts of things. Basically anything that makes sense, like pinks can be shaded with the violet, or blues can even be shaded with the violet. There's just a lot of things that I could use with that. I ended up overusing it so that I was using it for like everything, and then almost every wash ended up feeling the same. Every pink wash, every pink area that I was painting ended up feeling like the same one that I already painted. So being able to look at that and think, okay, what can I actually use to shade this that's different? And that really depends on the piece that you're creating. So if I wanted it to be more desaturated, less fantastical in the way that the colors are being perceived, then I could have gone with an opposite color. So rather than more of a darker pink, I could have mixed in green, and then that would have created a darker shadow for her hair. But I wanted it to feel really bright and saturated still, so I ended up going with just darker pinks, darker reds for her hair, and building up on that. And then I got to go back in and add in the highlights. That was my favorite part of this piece, was adding the highlights to her hair and her boots. I've been trying to be cleaner with the highlights in the hair. I found that I was getting very like loose and kind of sloppy with the placement, where I was just kind of hacking in a couple strands of highlights here and there. And I've been trying to be more deliberate with the shapes that I'm creating with the highlights, and I've been a lot happier with that. It's a very subtle change, but it makes the process of painting it more enjoyable, and it makes the outcome a little sharper and cleaner. I also added a very sharp highlight to her boots, so they feel very shiny, and I love watching things transform where you add highlights like that and it instantly makes the material feel more alive and different from what it felt like before you added in those highlights. I also added in a bunch of little sparkling dots in the background that are nice pastel colors to blend in with the character, but also to add a few different colors as well. So there's some pinks and purples and some teals in that background. It's super subtle, but I like that. I think that it just adds just enough more interest without cluttering it too much. And again, she is one of the 3 Pastel Gothic stickers for the month of April. Make sure to sign up. There's only a couple days left if you want to get the sticker pack, or if you want to get the strength print here, or both. There's a link down in the description that'll take you over there to my Patreon if you'd like to get that. I also have a link to my shop if you want to get the original painting of this Pastel Gothic piece. And that is it for today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.